this port like, right? It's like a huge port, one of the biggest port, largest port, but they don't have enough space to accommodate more ships to pull the cargo out, right? Most of the cargo that comes from the southeast region all comes from Everglades port. So if they want to expand and they want to cut the mangroves, is it a good thing or a bad thing? How do you make the judgment call there? So that was, they had like 8 acres of mangrove that was supposed to be taken out. And it became a big nuisance. People started challenging, you cannot do this, mangroves do so and things. It basically helps you protect your land, protect your soil. If you take out mangroves, what's going to happen is any kind of hurricanes or any kind of winds can take away your land area very easily. Mangroves are the first line of defense for most of the land, right? That's the biggest use. Plus, they allow habitats like fish, crabs, everything to feed on it. And they are the only possible plants that can survive in that salt water. So, a lot of benefits. How do you make that equation? So there was a big case. They kind of evaluated and they realized the cost of mangroves removal is somewhere in millions of dollars. How do they do that evaluation? Does anybody know? So the way they evaluate is they figure out the cost of removing it, right? The first thing is, what is the use value right now? What is the kind of fisheries it's supporting, everything, right? So they evaluate all that. The cost of, they call it optional value, just the fact that it's there and it gives you the visible value. They evaluate people, they do a survey and figure out, okay, what do you think? If this is not there, would you like it? And if I were ask you to, how much money you're willing to pay, there's a WTP cost, how much money you're willing to pay to have it there, right? So you might say $5, so on and so forth, right? So they do all these surveys and evaluate the total cost. This is how they kind of bring the total cost of an environmental asset, which is like a public good. So interestingly, they figured out and they realized that if they want to maintain that asset, that's going to cost some millions. And the way Everglades Port really managed, they were told not to do this project, but the way they had to expand it to support 5 ships in the port, the only way they could do it is they said, okay, fine, we're going to take out the mangroves from this area and put it in a different place, a double of it, like 16 acres. So they're going to plant it in a different place, 16 acres of mangroves are supported. And that's when the project got approved. So this is how kind of they balance it out, because once you do that, the whole benefit cost analysis that people do, saying this is my cost of removal of mangroves and this is the benefit it's bringing, like this much of revenue in the ports and the loading of cargo and everything. They figure out if you kind of show that is negative because you already put the mangroves in a different area, you can get away with it. So that's how Everglades kind of played their part, and they were approved on why they should allow the taking away of the mangroves. It's one of the biggest ports, so it does bring a lot of value for the community. So there are a lot of things, right? For example, if you see what happens if you don't put values on these economical things. Let's look at the oil damage that happened with BP, right? What if you don't put any penalty? Like we put millions of dollars as a penalty for BP for spoiling the ocean that they did, right? So what if you don't do that? Let's look at the other side of it. If you don't evaluate these environmental assets, what's going to happen? Everybody is going to think, okay, that's fine. They can pollute, nothing is going to happen, right? And they are not going to be careful. But once you start putting those fines on BP, like what we did, millions of dollars, like what's going to happen? They're going to be extra due diligent and making sure that they are taking care of the environment the way they are, right? The simple screw that somebody didn't fix along the pipe could cause a problem, right? And to force people, to nudge people to do the right thing is what we put the penalties for. It's not always the economical value that really matters. The fact that people are going to take care of the environment is what's the most important thing. With that, I just want to say thank you to all. This is something I learned and I thought it was a good thing to share it with you.